Welcome back to A Chick Drives It. In this episode, we're going to take you along for the ride in the Revuelto to Fuel Fest Tampa and also take you along on a drift day where we learned what drifting BDSM is. Packed and ready for Fuel Fest. So I did not consider the size of the Revuelto whenever I printed this 24x36 sign that's going to be sitting on my lap all the way. Only about an hour left of holding the sign up, making sure it doesn't slide in front of our face whenever we brake. If you're not familiar with Fuel Fest, it is essentially a day-long celebration of all things car culture, and this happened to be the first year that it was in Tampa. We had the opportunity to spend this day with the incredible people from Full Circle Garage. Jared, Jess, Zach, and Morgan were amazing. They had a great lineup of cars, and they are just generally great people with a passion for car culture. You saw us awkwardly transporting a 24x36 sign at the beginning of the video, and this is that sign because people like to touch the Revuelto to find out if it's a wrap. This sign was an attempt to keep that from happening, but you'll see that that didn't work very well. Here is a random stranger fingering my wing. After getting all set up, it was time to check out everything that Fuel Fest had to offer. Melinda has the back covered with no, it's not a wrap, and I have the front covered with yes, it is my car, no, it's not a wrap. The first stop was Taste of Tokyo, where we found a whole plethora of JDMs. Pretty much anything you could imagine seeing was here in this Taste of Tokyo section. It's awesome to see all the modifications, even this cute little guy right here. Such a cool display of car culture from that JDM side of the car world. Then it was off to the pit area for the drift cars before we made our way to where all the action was taking place for the drifting. This drift area was the epicenter of all of the energy and action all day long during Fuel Fest. From an insanely loud Caddy to some wild Mustangs, tons of LS motors. This was the place to be, and there was a constant layer of smoke over the entire area. Back over at the Full Circle Garage booth area, it was time to check out a wild Supra that had recently parked. Just look at this thing. I would not want to line up next to this for a quarter-mile run. After a quick check of the Revuelto and make sure people are posing and not touching, it was time to check out this awesome, beautiful Viper. Just look at that thing. And then it was time for Jared to check out the Revuelto.
The Lambo feels really good.
Forget the paint, it just smells good.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Full Circle Garage is selling all of his cars and buying a Revuelto. After an awesome and long day in Tampa, it was time to head home and get ready for drifting the next day. All right, yesterday was all about supercars and the Revuelto. Today it is about the drift car. We are heading out to Orlando Speed World to burn through some tires today. For those who are newer to the channel, this is a 2006 C6 Drift Corvette. So it is fully set up and ready to go drifting, hit the skid pad, and supported by the awesome team over at Wolves Den Customs. The random stuff that you find some mornings at OSW are hilarious. Let's get to drifting. Standard drift car things. Stuff just falls off sometimes. You don't need that anyway. Toward the end of the drift day, things got a little kinky when the car started whipping Britt. with my arm out the window trying to get the wheel spin and everything, one of the tires shredded, and I didn't realize that at the time, but looking back on the video, it started to shred, and I was whipped repeatedly. I'm not even sure. Oh yeah, you can see the welts from the whipping that I took. Yeah, that's what happens whenever a tire starts to shred and you get whipped by it. So that's a new one. So this right here, that's the culprit of my whipping. After a much needed tire change, we did a few more laps and then called it a day. This was one of those long and exhausting car weekends, but it was also super fulfilling to spend time with some amazing people, both at Fuel Fest and at the Drift Day. And these are the kind of weekends that I live for.